Good morning, everybody. I've said this now, I guess this is our third one of the year, and it really is a pretty nice event for some of you. It's the second or third one already you've attended. I see a few familiar parent faces, which is awesome. But we recognize 10 students a month, and that's out of almost 1,200. So this is no small feat. If you're here, students, you've done a fantastic job. You've gotten on the radar of your teachers and stand out for probably many reasons, but congratulations. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll probably go, I think we have one student that's not here yet, so I might move around a little bit, but let's have from our English department, Miss Marchetto, come on up. There she is.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Katie Marchetto. My student of the month, his name is Caleb Trousseau. So Caleb, come on up here. I'm going to embarrass you just for a minute. So once in a while, you come across what we call a beautiful mind in the classroom, right? So they think outside the box. And you're so grateful to have them in class because they say things that you didn't even think of yourself. Caleb is that student for me this past fall. He has insights that go well beyond his years. He's very mature for his age. And sometimes the things he says go over his classmates, but a lot of it makes them think, which is like the best thing. It's extremely valuable to have a kid like him in my class. And this past fall, he wrote an essay comparing Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, which is about living through apartheid in South Africa, to Pat Moore's Fences, which is about division and socioeconomic, a beach, right? So Caleb wrote this. In conclusion, with Born a Crime and Fences, they tell the readers about the author's way of seeing the world and how the worldview was shaped by their culture. Both stories can teach society about the world and how others have to live their lives, which can provide them an understanding or a point of view that they weren't aware of before. Culture shapes who people are, how they're treated, how they live, and it greatly impacts how everyone sees the world. So he's an excellent English student, but he's an even more excellent person. And I can't wait to see what life holds for you, Caleb, because you're going to be wealthy, and I hope you remember me. Okay. Congratulations.
All right, from our math department, Dr. Weeder.
Good morning, everyone. It's always hard to go after Katie. For some reason, I always have that honor. And I am short and to the point, and I didn't bring any math problems that my student brings, but I can tell you he is the most amazing student that I've had in a long time. And he's an absolute pleasure to have in class. Dylan Kim, if you would like to come, please. My student, I'll tell you, the first day and the first weeks, you learn a little bit about your students. And from day one, he was hardworking. We do a lot of hard things. I'm in Algebra 2 right now, and a lot of times they've had some gaps in their learning along the way. But I'll tell you, Dylan just sticks to it. I have him last block of the day who wants to do math, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when they're thinking about going home. Well, Dylan will stay until whenever he gets that last problem done. And I really appreciate his stick-to-it-ness. We talk about in math the growth-minded mindset, which means that you really stick to it and you do the best you can all the time, and that you just keep going and you keep trying. And that's what he does. And I'm super proud of having him in class, and I'd love to have a whole class of him, but he is definitely the best student that I can say that he earned Student of the Month for sure. So, congratulations.
All right, let's have Ms. Sherman from Performing Arts come on up, please.
Students, once you're done, if you could walk over here and get your picture taken for the yearbook with the teacher, please.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Ms. Sherman. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I teach choral music and concert choir, but I also teach piano, and I teach music appreciation. And I have chosen Van Delp as my Student of the Month, so come on up. Congratulations. So let me tell you a little bit about the class Music Appreciation in itself. It's not my main content area. Yes, music is what I do, but Music Appreciation is not the performance of music, but learning about music. And usually that class gets filled up with students that aren't looking to play an instrument, they don't really know music very well, they're just looking pretty much for their arts credit, okay? So it's really a treasure when I get a student in that class that does enjoy music and knows a little bit about music, and I think they really get the most out of it. So I'm very glad that he was in my class. At first, at the beginning of the semester, you were pretty nervous, I think, about being in the classroom. It's a pretty rowdy class that I have during that fourth period time slot. And I feel like at times you were a little bit timid and shy because you were enthusiastic about the content. And sometimes that can seem lame to other students, right? So I've been able to kind of watch you grow into this class leader from this very, very kind of timid and shy and maybe afraid to speak up at the beginning of the semester kind of student. And now you consistently help other students with their work, especially if I am not able to adequately explain a concept or get something across. Van does a great job of taking that concept and breaking it down into small pieces for his fellow classmates to understand. His classwork is exemplary. I've often even asked to show it in front of the class as a way to kind of go about their writing about music. And occasionally I offer extra credit assignments and points, and when he earns that extra credit, I have to dig through my grade book looking for any assignment that doesn't already have a 100, and it's very rare that I can find a place to put that extra credit, so it's pretty impressive. I have started to see these outward signs of enthusiasm about the content. Even yesterday, we're learning about very odd-sounding music that's classical music of the early 1900s. Very weird sounding and not very pretty to the ear. And he's buzzing in his seat, like, oh, I can't wait to hear what this is going to sound like as I'm explaining it. So it's really wonderful to have someone in that class that can kind of lead as an example for enthusiasm about music. So I'm really excited to see where that musical knowledge takes you in life. So congratulations. Thank you for being my Student of the Month.
All right, from our Physical Education and Health Department, Ms. Dowdy, if you can come on up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Corinne Gowdy. I'm a health teacher. We all sophomores all year. It's a great place to be. I look forward to the floor. Okay. Yes, my student of the month is Sophia. Come on up. I'm excited to share with you that Sophia is our student of the month for the Health and PE department. She is a part of my second period class. It's a really, really great class. You should come check it out. And she greets me every single morning at the door with a hello and a warm smile. She works really hard every day to complete her tasks. She joins groups in class projects, and she completes them with success. And despite a language barrier, she communicates with me daily about her work, asks me questions, and lets me know that she really is trying her best. And I see that every day. I continue to be impressed with Sophia's perseverance through it all. Thank you, Sophia, for continuing to be a role model for those around you. I have no doubt that you will continue to be successful in your endeavors, and I am proud of you. Thank you for being a part of our class.
All right, from our Science Department, Ms. Carmine, if you'll come on up.
Good morning. I teach all levels of physics here at Kent Island High School, so I have the privilege of teaching a lot of amazing students. So this is always really a difficult choice because we as teachers only really get to choose one student for the entire year. It's Student of the Month, but we only get to choose one. And this year I chose to reflect on the BUCK expectations that you see all around the building. The BUCK expectations are be responsible, understand differences, commit to success, and be respectful. And when I focused on those particular attributes, one student really stood out. Carson Applenup is in my honors physics class at the end of the day. The first things I noticed about Carson is the whole idea of being respectful and responsible. You would be hard pressed to find anybody, any student in this building who's more respectful than Carson. He is open, he is greets me every day, says goodbye every day, commits to success in terms of like participating in class all the time, always engaged in the lesson, being responsible for his own learning. He monitors his own learning. Physics is a content that's a little bit unusual in that students come to me sometimes unwilling to think for themselves, like they think that physics is just an application of math where they're just going to do some math problems. And so I always challenge them at the beginning of the semester to make sure that they're thinking critically, that they are seeking to understand, and sometimes having to undo some misconceptions that they have, and then to understand through interaction. So interaction is huge in our classroom. Carson really embraces this interaction, especially in lab. I feel like he really understands the nuances of lab a whole lot. He's not trying, and when students don't get exactly the right answer out of lab, they have a tendency to say, oh, well, you know, it's just human error, and just kind of glaze over it. I was reading Carson's lab journal yesterday, in particular, in a lab where they didn't get exactly the right answer, and he had explained it in a way that demonstrated to me that he really understood what was happening. We were throwing a ball over a motion sensor, and we were trying to see if the energy was conserved in that. And when the energy wasn't exactly the same number, he said, oh, there was something external to this particular system that was changing the energy of that. And so he's really understanding and not just glazing over and giving some answer, oh, it was just air resistance or something. It's really understanding. And so, so that's one of the things that I really focus on in the physics classroom, is understanding, critically thinking, really being able to describe why something isn't fitting into this particular model. Carson's an aspiring teacher. He wants to be a teacher, and I just want to encourage him to really think about the scientific field, just because I feel like you have this ability to really understand the nuances of science. You seem to really enjoy the laboratory experience. So I'm hoping you're thinking high school. I'm hoping you're thinking science. And I can't wait to see what you're going to commit back to the community. So thank you for being my student of the month.
From our our world language department, sorry, Ms. Hegelke.
Buenos dias, yo soy profesora Hegelke. This is Taylor, my student of the month, and I'm excited to present to her today. When each semester starts, we have what we call a drop add period, and some kids switch out of some classes to go to others. And during this semester's drop add period, Taylor joined my third period Spanish 3 class. And I got an email from her counselor that read, Taylor will be substituting a different class once something opens up. So she was joining my class sort of as a placeholder. The thing is, she's currently a senior and hadn't taken Spanish 2 since her sophomore year. And furthermore, she took Spanish 1 fully virtual, which we all know was an interesting experience, especially in language. So at the beginning of the semester, my students submitted a writing sample so I could gauge their proficiency. And Taylor kind of listed some words and some phrases. And this week, she is literally writing a comic book in Spanish. So her growth is phenomenal. And let me tell you how she got from point A to point B, from her list to creating this book in Spanish. So number 1, she comes in with a good attitude. She does what I ask her to do. She's willing to try. And that's something that we've heard from some other teachers today as well. So I think that's super important for our students. And number 2, I think she just enjoys learning. And at first, there was definitely some frustration because of that gap that she had in between taking classes. And her first test was okay. You know, it didn't blow it out of the park or anything. But when we got to our midterm, her grade was one of the best in the class. And because of those 2 characteristics, her willingness to try and her, I think, enjoyment of learning, she's doing so well and she's learning so much, and she's really increased her proficiency a lot this semester, and that's why I chose her for Student of the Month. So thank you, Taylor.
Last but and certainly not least from visual arts, Mrs. Zerba, if you'll come on up. While you're coming up, the reason I kind of went out of order there, the Butler family, and this room is filled with wonderful parents, families, and obviously students. That's why you are nominated and received the Student of the Month award. But I believe, if I'm right, the Butler family has joined us for all 3 Student of the Month celebrations so far. So great job. Thank you.
All right. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Mrs. Zerba. I am an art teacher. I teach fundamentals of art, 2D1 and 3D1 here. And I am happy to give my Student of the Month to Jaleel Butler. Jaleel, come on up. So, when I first met Jaleel, I noticed he had a lot of energy. You know, he's always kind of like dancing, and you know. So I used to teach elementary school for like 14 years, and then I taught middle school. And energy doesn't always transfer into doing the artwork. So I was a little like, what's up with this kid? Is he gonna be good at art? You know, is he gonna be doing what he's supposed to be doing in here? Then I saw his sketches, and I was like, all right, we've got some talent here. And the longer I've gotten to know him, he really does put that energy into his art. He comes in and he's like excited to do the project, like he's getting the materials out. Sometimes he's done 2 of the project. He'll like finish one, he's like, can I make another one? I'm like, yeah, you can make another one, of course. You know, and he's like, I mean, everything we do, it's like, oh, I can't, I'm gonna make an owl this time. I'm like, he just gets so excited. And I love that. I love that energy that you bring to my room. And it's not, you know, like I said, like that energy doesn't always transfer into art, and you really do that. And, you know, your classmates love you too. Like I hear like his table, they're always laughing and having a good time. And I've never heard anything but like positively and nice things come out of Jaleel's mouth. I've never heard him put anybody down. He's part of it, he's laughing, he's having a good time. But in the midst of the laughter, I'll overhear him like, hey, where do you think I should put this in my art project? So it's like he's still having fun and like talking to his classmates, but he's also still involved in what he's doing, and he's talking to them about that. And I love it. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to have. And I'm not good at standing up and talking in front of rooms of people, and I was excited to come up and talk about Jaleel today and what he brings to my classroom. So thank you so much. Please keep taking art like all the way through high school into college and beyond, because you're very talented and I love having you in my room.
All right, well, that does conclude this month's Student of the Month. Feel free to grab coffee or donuts. No reason to rush out, but I'm sure the students are eager to get back to first period. So thank you guys. Have a great holiday.